Hi friends, Juan the Yarn Addict here, offering you another tutorial. Today I offer you the Iris Illusions throw, and so this is what it looks like. I chose Halloween inspired colors because 'tis the season, and so I started this project off with Varsity Orange. I moved on to Spooky Season, which is their new variegated colorway. From there I moved on to Purple, and then from there I moved on to Light Gray. And then I just repeated this all the way back to the beginning so that both ends have the Varsity Orange. And so this is a medium 4-weight yarn. I used a 6mm crochet hook for this. All the details will be in the show notes for you. This is a very versatile pattern. You can actually work this up in any weight of yarn so long as you use the recommended hook size for the yarn of your choice as a starting point. So for the purposes of this tutorial, I am actually going to work this project up in a bulky 5-weight yarn, and this is Premier's Bloom Chunky in their colorway Bluebell. It's very, very soft and squishy. They do suggest an 8mm crochet hook, a US letter L, and that is the hook that I am using for this tutorial. Super, super excited to get this started. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the tutorial. Okay, so to get started, we need to create a slip knot on our hook. However you do this is absolutely fine. This is how I do it. So from here, we want to chain multiples of 5 plus 3. If you're working this up for Boggy Creek, you want to continue making these chains until your chain measures 35 to 40 inches, and then you're going to add 3 additional chains. If you're working this up for anything else, just make sure that you have your multiples of 5 plus 3. So continue on with this, and I shall meet you once I have my appropriate amount of chains. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my multiples of 5. From here, I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And so from here, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through both. So we're going to do single crochets in every chain for this row. This is the first part of a 2-row setup. So we're going to go ahead and do single crochets for all of the chains. You go in, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through both, just like this, for the entire length of your chain. So continue doing that, and I shall be back in a moment with the next step. Okay, so I've made it to the end of my chain. All single crochets in every chain for the length of my project here. So from here, we're going to go ahead and chain 2. 1 and 2. From here, we're going to turn our work over, and we're going to go into that very first stitch with a double crochet. Yarn over, go in, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2, just like that. From here, we're going to start a repeat sequence. So we're going to go into the next stitch here with a double crochet. We're going to go ahead and skip the next stitch, go into the following one here with a V-stitch. So it's going to be a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. From here, we're going to skip the next stitch, go into the next one here with a double crochet. And so the double, the V-stitch, and the double is going to be the repeat sequence for this second setup row. Okay, so let's do this again. In the next stitch, it's going to be a double crochet. From here, we're going to skip 1, go into the next stitch here with a V-stitch. So it's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. After you've completed your V-stitch, we're going to skip the next stitch, go into the following one here with a double crochet. And that's what it should look like. Okay. For good measure, we'll do it one more time, and then I will leave you go to the end of the row here. So from here, we're going to go into the next stitch with a double crochet, We're going to skip the next stitch, go into the next one with a V-stitch, a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. From here, we're going to skip the next stitch, go into the next one here with a double crochet. Just like that. So continue on with this, and I shall see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm nearing the end of the second setup row here, and this is what we're looking like. It's very, very nice. Okay, so to finish this row, what we need to do is, based on the pattern here, we need to skip the next stitch, go into the next stitch with a V-stitch. So that's going to be a double, chain 1, and a double. From here, we're going to skip the next stitch, go into the following one there with a double crochet, and you should have 1 stitch remaining right there. We're going to go ahead and put a double crochet in that very last stitch. Just make sure you pick up your front loop and your back loop, as you can see there, just like that. So that completes the second setup row, just like that. Okay. So from here, we're going to start our 2-row repeat. So we need to chain 2 and turn our work. The chain 2s will never count as a stitch, okay? From here, we're going to go into that very first stitch with a double crochet. And for this row, we are going to work the iris stitch inside of the V's all the way across our project. So we're going to do an iris stitch and then hop over the 2 double crochets and go right into the next V-stitch with the iris stitch. So the iris stitch is going to go just like this. We're going to yarn over, go into the V, drop a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So that's a double crochet, and you want 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's 2 doubles there, chain 1, and we're going to go back into that V-stitch with 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, just like that. And that's what it should look like. From here, we're going to hop right on over to the next V, yarn over, go into the V, and do your double crochet, and start your iris stitch. So you have 2 doubles, chain 1, and 2 doubles. Super, super easy. Okay. So just for good measure, we're going to go ahead and do this one more time. So from here, we're going to hop on over to the next V-stitch, and we're going to insert an iris stitch inside of the V. So it's 2 doubles, chain 1, and 2 doubles, just like that. Okay? So continue on with this, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm nearing the end of the first row of our 2-row repeat. Just to recap, we have 2 setup rows here, and the iris stitch is the first of 2 repeat rows, okay? So what I have left here are 2 stitches from the previous row. We want to skip this stitch and go into the last one here with a double crochet. Yarn over, go in, drop a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like that. So from here, we are going to chain 2, and as always, it does not count as a stitch. We're going to turn our work over, and we will start the second row of our 2-row repeat. Okay, so we're going to insert a double crochet in that very first stitch right there. Okay, yarn over, go in, let's do our double, just like that. And so from here, we're going to insert a front post double crochet in the very first stitch of this iris stitch. So we're going to yarn over, come down and around, drop a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. From here, we're going to insert a V-stitch in the chain space. So yarn over, go in, let's do our double, chain 1, and then we're going to go back into that chain space with a double crochet. Just like that. From here, we're going to insert a front post double crochet in the last stitch of the iris stitch. Go down and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like that. Very nice. Okay, and we're going to repeat that. So let's yarn over, come to the next iris stitch here. It's going to be a front post, V-stitch, front post. So let's do it. Front post double in front of the first one there. Let's go to the chain space with a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then a front post double in the last stitch right here of the iris. Let's yarn over, go down and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like that. Tons of texture there. Okay, just for good measure, we're going to do it one more time, but I'm going to do it silently so you can just watch. And there you have it. Okay, so continue on with that, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm nearing the end of the 2-row repeat here. I have my V-stitch, and so from here, I'm going to do my front post double in the last stitch of the iris. So let's yarn over and come around. Let's take care of that. So after that, I should have 1 stitch remaining, which I do. And I'm going to go ahead and insert a double crochet in that last stitch there. Just like that. So from here, we are going to chain 2 and repeat the 2-row repeat. So we're going to go into that very first stitch with a double crochet, and that will be the repeat. You're always going to go into that very first stitch and insert a double crochet. From here, we're going to go right into the V-stitch. You have that front post stitch, the V-stitch, and that front post stitch. You're skipping the stitches there. You're just going to go right into that V-stitch with the iris stitch. So it's going to be 2 doubles, chain 1, and then 2 doubles. Just like that. Okay, and so from there, we're just going to hop right on over to the next V. We're skipping all of that. We're going to go right over to the next V and do another iris stitch. 2 doubles, chain 1, and 2 doubles. Okay, so continue on with that, and I will see you at the end of this row. Okay, so I'm approaching the end of row 1 of the 2-row repeat, which is the iris stitch. And so after your last V, you're going to hop into that very last stitch with a double crochet. If you ever lose your way, just look 2 rows down and it should match. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do several more rows to kind of show you what this looks like on a larger scale, and I will be right back. Okay, so I am back with several additional rows completed, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to lean this into the light so we can see the texture. And from here, I'm going to flip it over so we can see the texture on the other side. And here is the other side. Tons of texture here, as you can see. Now, this is worked up with a bulky 5-weight yarn. I'm going to go ahead and bring back the 4-weight yarn project here, my Halloween inspired project. Here we go. Very, very nice. And I'm going to bring back the 5-weight project here and just lay this on top to just show you that this can be worked up in any weight of yarn. Just use the recommended hook size on the ball band as a starting point and then go from there. So that is all I have for this tutorial. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. Leave a comment or 2. I would definitely appreciate the support. That is all for this one, my friends, and until the next one, take care. Bye.